Hi, I'm Dave Koch. Welcome to my channel. I've been a real estate photographer here in the Salt Lake area for a little over a decade, and I've been a photographer most of my adult life. And even when I wasn't actively working in the photography industry, I still loved photography and I still took pictures. So I do have a little bit of a background in this, but what I'm here today to do is to talk to you about 5 things that I think you need to do before you open a photography business. Let me lay a little bit of ground rules here for you. One thing is that it's a photography business. Emphasis on the business, not the photography. Just because you enjoy taking pictures or because people say you take good pictures does not mean you will be a successful photographer. You have to know how to run a business. Photography is almost ancillary to the whole idea of building a photography business. I often say that, photography is 5% pushing the button and 95% problem solving. And it really is. And a lot of that problem solving is running the business. And it is completely different than the photography part of it. If you're very, very successful, you can have people that you hire to run the business part of it for you, and then you can focus directly on photography. And I kind of think that's where a lot of us have our goals, especially those of us who do this for the love of photography. But what we've discovered along the way is you do have to be good at business to make it work. So, before we even get into this, I just want to point that out. Keep in mind that it is a business, and that is your goal, to make a successful business that happens to revolve around photography. All right. Well, with that said, let's get into my 5 things you need to do before you open your real estate photography business. Item 1, learn your market and define your place in that market. What I mean by this is you're going to have to do some research and find out if your market can support another real estate photographer. Is there enough business that you will be able to make money in that market? Who will you market to? What will your niche be in that market? Are you going to work with realtors? Are you going to work with property managers? Are you going to do Airbnb only? How are you going to market to these different people? Again, these are all business questions, and these are all questions you really should have at least some feeling for the answer for going in. Nobody is going to come in and just give you clients. You're going to have to appeal to clients, and that means you're going to have to know who your clients are. So the first step is defining who you are going to market to. Then you need to figure out how you will market to them. How do you reach the realtors or the property managers or the Airbnb owners or whomever you want to market to? That's all going to take, a little bit of time and a whole lot of thought and some research. So I definitely advise you to take some time and think long and hard about those things and find professionals in your area who could possibly help you. When I was first starting my first business, which was an animation art gallery here in Salt Lake City, it was a boatload of fun. I loved animation art, and I didn't know anything about running a business. So I ran a very poor business. It was unique though, and it was a lot of fun. But one of the things that I did to get myself going was I went to the local SBA and I got a mentor there, and they helped me along. I'd meet with him, once a week, once every 2 weeks, and he'd give me assignments and I'd go out and I'd do them. And yeah, I didn't get to start my business this week or this month. It took 6 months, a year. But I started off on a lot better footing than I would have had I just jumped in. And starting your own business is an expensive proposition. So you want to give yourself every advantage you can. So do the research, find out about your market, and figure out your place in it. Item two, get your portfolio off the ground before you start your business. May seem like you're putting the cart before the horse a little bit, but you need to be able to show people what you can do before they're going to hire you. And that means having a portfolio, at least in this business. You can like tap on friends, tap on relatives, tap on people that you know that are realtors and get 5, 10 shoots under your belt so that you have something to show people about what you can do and where you're going with photography before you even start. I would also say you're going to need a website right at the point that you start. And that's going to need a lot of images to fill it. So you're going to need a portfolio, whether you like it or not. So get out there, hustle. Like I said, tap friends, tap relatives, tap whoever you need to get houses shot. If you have to, shoot your own house. You know, it's good practice. And in fact, I'll tell you, I think within the last 6 months, I've done a shoot here in my house because I was testing a new technique. There's nothing wrong with shooting your own house, and it's a great place to learn and try new things and new ideas. Don't be afraid of practice. Practice is what's going to make you better. Number three, invest in the right equipment. I firmly believe in this. I think you're not a professional unless you have professional gear. If you are using iPhones to take pictures of homes and things, you're going to make images, but are you going to be making good images? You know, that's debatable. iPhones can do really good things, but it doesn't really inspire confidence from realtors and other people if they see you whip out an iPhone to take pictures. I think if you are going to present yourself as a professional, you need to present yourself with professional equipment. That means a good camera, good lighting, good tripod, and a professional attitude. And I would even go so far as saying professional dress. The whole thing needs to be done in a package that says, I am a professional, you can trust me. And that's my advice. Always have that look of professionalism around you. This does not mean that you need to buy the top of the line camera or a really right stuff tripod, especially when you're starting out. $1,000, $1,400 for a tripod. That's a whole lot of money, and maybe you can't afford that. But have your eye on that goal as something that you're going to do if and when you get to that point. I do not think that you need the newest or the best camera. I I think you can shoot with a crop sensor. I think you can shoot, all you need is a 14 to 30 f4. You don't need a 14 to 24 f2.8. So find places to economize if you have to, but keep your eye on professionalism. That's really important to be a professional. Item 4, learn how to edit. You may see a lot of us that are professionals and, we send our images to Vietnam to be edited, or India or the Philippines, or, wherever. And, you may think, oh, that's really cool. I can do my shoots, offload all that stuff, and, you know, have great pictures the next morning. And that is by and large true. But here's a couple true facts of life you're going to find when you become a professional photographer. One, you're not going to be working every day, and you're not going to have full days even on those days you are working. It makes sense, I think, to use that time to become better at your craft. And I think one of the best ways you can do that and use that time is to learn how to edit. When I was in television, we had shooters and we had editors. I was a shooter, and I one of the times I learned what I considered a great lesson was I came back from a shoot, and the editor was livid and throwing things around and saying, how can I make something out of this chicken shit you shot? And the thing was, because I had never edited, I didn't know all the shots that were required by an editor to make a proper story, to make a proper video. And by editing, you learn what you can and what you cannot get away with. And I think that's super important. I think you may not end up wanting to edit every day, but having the knowledge of what you need to do to edit and what the editor needs is invaluable in that partnership between you and the editor. So learn how to edit and let that inform the way that you shoot, because it's very important that you shoot for the edit and you know the limitations of what you shoot. 5, create a business plan. Yeah, I saved the worst for last. A business plan is not a lot of fun. And let me just say right here, if you don't know what a business plan is, do not start a business. You are way over your ski tips if you're starting a business and you don't even know what the term business plan is. You could start a business, obviously. You can do anything you want, but chances are it's not going to be very successful unless you have a plan and you know how you're going to get there. I don't know how many people I see posting on forums, how do I get more clients? Well, you know what? The business plan is where you figure out how you're going to get the clients. If you can't think for yourself, you are not going to be a success. And that's part of what a business plan is. I think me saying if you don't know what a business plan is, you shouldn't be starting a business is a good test, because if you don't know what a business plan is, you don't know much about running a business. And if you're at that point where you really don't know anything, hold off 6 months, hold off a year. There are community colleges in almost every city in the US. Go to one of them and take a business class. Take a couple of business classes. Meet some people in the business community who will mentor you. As I said earlier, go to the SBA. They would love to help you. They want you to be a success. Everybody wants you to be a success, but you won't be a success without putting in the work. And the work is learning how to run a business. And I know I keep harping on this, but this is the most valuable lesson you can learn from me. Don't just think because you know how to take a picture and you own a camera that you're going to be a success. That's not the measure of success. The measure of success is learning how to run a business. Learn about that. Write a business plan, and you have just doubled or tripled your odds of being a success in this business. Well, I hope that didn't bring you down too much. I know it's, like I said, not some of the most fun things you want to hear, but this is what you need to hear to be a success. And that's what it's all about, being a success. I do wish you all the luck in the world, and I hope that your next shoot is your best shoot.